Hi everyone and welcome in this new video. In our first part, we've learned about that what are the different parts of this p5.js web editor and what is the meaning of this default code which is present in the editor. Today we are going to explore more about it. We are going to learn that how we can create different shapes and color them, and what are some of the library functions which are already present in the library of p5.js. So let's get started. First, I want to change the dimensions of my canvas. Earlier, we have worked with 400 canvas where 400 pixel wider it was and 400 pixel length was there. Now what do I want to go with? I want to increase the width of this canvas. So I made it 500 pixels, and to increase the height as well, I changed the value from 400 to 450. These two values totally dependent upon you that how big or small you want your canvas. This time, I also want to change the color of my background. Definitely it is very difficult to remember all the color code. So the simplest way is to go on Google and search for that if the RGB color arrangement ranges from 0 to 255, then how we can get all possible colors out of it. It will give you some links, and through RGB color code chart rapidtables.com you will be able to come here. So here you can see if I would like to write any particular combination, I can write that. Any color that you are specifically writing, you can get the code related to that. Otherwise, you can also go down and you can have this color scheme. So for every color, there is hexadecimal color code is also written, which is right now not our concern, but we can go with the RGB decimal color code which we would like to go with. So they have different shades of all the colors that you want. So for example, if I would like to go with pale turquoise, I can just copy this color combination and I can go here and paste. So changing the value of background from this to this. At some point of time, if I would like to definitely check on, I can click on the play button and you can see that the background color is different this time. Don't you think it is an easier way? So this rapid table is a very good and handy option to give you any color of your choice. Now let's think about it, that what are the basic shapes that we want to make. So the first basic shape which comes in our mind is a rectangle. How to go about it? So when we are talking about any of the shape, we have some kind of keyword or a function defined for it. But please remember, we need to see the output all the time. Therefore, all these kind of instructions are supposed to be written inside the function draw. Now, when I say inside the function draw, it means that every instruction needs to be inside the curly bracket. So if you don't have space here, you are supposed to go at the end of the line and press enter so that you can make the room for the next instruction. So for making a rectangle, the instruction that I am supposed to use or the function that I am supposed to use is rect. We do not say rectangle, but we write the short form of it, which is rect. And then we open the round brackets as any function contains. Now the main idea is what these values are. So inside that we have these four values. This I am writing just to ensure that you would be able to understand that what are the four values, but we do not write x, y, width and height. Rather we write numbers here. So x and y is the value or the coordinates which we will represent as position. At which place do you want your rectangle to be visible in your output screen? So you need to keep in mind that whatever will be the size of your canvas, you are supposed to keep the value inside that range. So if I want my rectangle to be on the left side, so I need to take some value between 0 to 500. So let's say I want it somewhere here. So for the X value, I am taking here maybe a 50. However, when I am writing the Y value, I need to look for the height of the canvas. So the value will range from 0 to 450. In between that, wherever I want to place my rectangle, I can keep the value. Again, I would like to keep this value smaller so that I can have my rectangle somewhere here. So I am changing the value of Y as 100. So X and Y value of 50 and 100 will be somewhere here. Now I have to think about how big rectangle do I want. So I need to write width and height similar as this. So I don't want a very big rectangle, but since it is a rectangle, so I need to make it wider. So I would like to keep my width as 100 and height I want to keep smaller. So this is 50 pixels. Now you also need to know that whenever we are talking about coding, we somehow place the semicolon at the end of the line. Now, if you are placing semicolon at the end of a line, it is a good practice. Why? Because it, shows that your instruction has ended and you can move to the next line. But even if you do not place it in the code, it will not make any difference or create any error condition. But since you are a beginner, the good practice is that you should keep the semicolon here. Now what I am supposed to do here, just to check that everything falls in place, I will click on the play button to see, and you can see we have a rectangle over here. Now again, as I mentioned, it is absolutely your choice that what X value you want to give, what Y value you want to give, what width and height you can give. So this is absolutely your choice. If I want my length to be longer, I can make this 200 pixels. If I want my height to be more, I can keep it 80. Stop and play, and you can see a bigger rectangle. So that's how you can adjust the values. But do remember that the first value is X, second value is the Y position, third is the width, and fourth is the height. We cannot change these values. But don't you think white rectangle I may not be liking? I want to make it colorful. Now I have already told you that you can go to this rapid table and can get your code done. But there is another way through which I can write the color. But before writing the color, I need to know which instruction actually gives me the color. So for that purpose, we have fill instruction. If you mark a difference here, when I start writing any word, it is very simple blue color. But as soon as I write it as a predefined function already stored in p5.js, it becomes dark blue. So the signification of already defined functions or the keywords in p5.js library is this. Dark blue color signifies that it is already defined and the computer understands this. Now because fill is again a function, I am going to make the round brackets, and this time rather than writing a number, I am using apostrophes and I am writing a color in this. Let's say red. Now you can see here, as soon as I wrote red, it gave me the color as well. But how about if I don't write it with apostrophes? Probably it will work that way as well. Let's see. So I am putting a semicolon and again stop and play. Do you see it is not showing the color? Why? Because whenever you are writing any English word, red is an English word, so you are supposed to actually write it with apostrophes, and that's what your console is giving you the idea as well, not a valid color representation. So that means whenever I'm supposed to write a color, apostrophes is playing a significant value. So we need to write it with apostrophes. And let's check it again. And you can see the color. So please remember that it's important to put the apostrophes. After coloring the shape, we can also do outlining. At some point of time, you can see right now that the outlining is somewhat red, which is not very visible. Let's say we want to make the outline with a different color and with some thickness. So we have two different instructions for the same. For marking an outline, we use the instruction stroke. Stroke means that what will be the color that I want for the outline. Now, let's say I would like to keep it yellow. Now again, as I mentioned earlier, whenever you are adding any color, since it is an English word, we are not using numbers here, so we have to add it with apostrophes, marking the end of line with semicolon. Let's check it. How is it working? Can you see a yellow outline around the shape? It's looking so good. But sometimes to emphasize this outline more, we can even make this outline thicker. How can we do that? I can go here, I can go to the next line, and I am making a room for another instruction, which is stroke weight. Now, stroke is definitely we have already worked with, that it is the outline, but since we are talking about the thickness, we are using the term weight. Now, when weight is being written, everyone needs to emphasize on that weight is the second word, stroke is the first word. So whenever you are connecting any two words together in JavaScript, the second letter first alphabet is supposed to be capital. Now open the round brackets for marking that it is a function, and now inside this, because we are talking about thickness, we can write here number, just a number. Smaller the number, thinner the line is, larger the number, thicker the line is. Let's get started to see it. It is more thicker. Now if I make it 5 and run it, you can see even more broader. So as you keep on increasing the number, the borders will become even more prominent. That's how these instructions work. So all these instructions, it is not really important that you have to write it after making the rectangle only. What about if I cut it from here and write it before even making a rectangle? We need to see that does it make any difference? So let's clear the preview screen and check it. You can see the similar kind of output, which means that even if you have not created the shape right now and you have given all the specification related with the color, the outline, the thickness of the outline, it doesn't make any difference in the output. You can write it either way. So I think with these 4 instructions, you are pretty much clear with how they work. Now let's talk about another shape quickly. I would like to make, let's say, a square, because rectangle, when we talk about square as well. Now when I'm talking about square, I write square as a full spelling only. No shortcuts for it. Again, square is a function. I need to open the round brackets and the value of square will be same. It is x, y, and because all 4 sides of the square are same, that is what is the basic property of square, we have to write just one value, that is the value of the side. Whatever value we will give, that will decide that how big or small square you want it. So let's get started. I definitely want my square somewhere, here. So if I have given this rectangle a space somewhere of 50 pixels and it is 200 wide, so 200 plus 50, it is taking somewhere 250 already. So I am going to make my square after that value. Let's say I'm taking 300 as my x value. Y value, I want my square somewhere here, a little down there. So I am making the previous value of x was 100 and adding its height is 180. So I am writing somewhere after 180. Probably I am writing 230 as the y value. And the side of the square, let's say I would like to keep it smaller, 50. And then to mark the end of the line, I am using semicolon. So let's see how does it look like. Press OK. As soon as I press the play button, you saw that the same color scheme that I used for rectangle is here for square as well. Why? Because these instructions are working common for both of these shapes. At some point of time, if you feel that no, I want my shapes to be different color, you can select these. You can just simply copy, go after line number 10, paste it, and let's change the color. I want my square to be somewhere pink in color, so I chose pink. I want its outline to be purple because pink and purple make a good combination maybe. And stroke weight this time I want a little thinner, so I made it like that. Let's see. So here you can see clearly that I have a square with different properties in it, with different color, etc. But here I would also like to say to you that if you want the understanding of the program better and you are writing a lot of instruction inside one function, then the good practice is that you should give spaces. This space will ensure that these 4 instructions are for, rectangle, and these 4 are for the square. Now we as programmer can understand this, but what about those people who are looking at the code for the very first time? For that purpose, we have the option which is known as comments. So how can we write a comment in JavaScript? Use 2 forward slashes and you can write any English sentence over here the way you want it. So for example, if create canvas, create an output screen, I can write that. Create and output screen. Now you can see here that this particular section is gray in color, which means that we can read it, but the computer won't read it. How about if I go here and remove these forward slashes? You can see now it is showing me error because the red line is there and it is being treated as an English statement. What does it mean over here? It means that whenever I want to make a comment, which as humans we can read to understand that what is the meaning of this instruction, I can do that by adding a comment. Similarly, I can go here and I can add this, add a background color. Okay, after this, I can write a comment here, creating a rectangle, like that. And similarly, I can go here and write about this, creating a square. Don't you think that by writing this way, it is even more readable, more understandable? So that's why the comment system is also there in our code. Now, rectangle and my square is definitely a good idea and the basic shape to make it. How about if I can make a ball out of this square? I have a trick for that. Put a comma and write the same side value one more time and see what is the result. You can see the square has been transformed into a circle. Why? Because when we are talking about a square, I just need one side to be written over here. But as soon as I am writing another side which is not required, it is transforming my square into a circle. So this is a trick that I can know. But yes, for making a circle, we already have one instruction. So let's quickly get into it. So first I'm writing the comment, creating a circle. And for circle, I am using the same instruction, which is circle. Here I have to write 3 values. X value, let's say I'm writing 350. Y value, let's say I am writing 250. And the radius of the circle. So let's say I want to keep the radius bigger. I did that. And let's check it. Oh, I think my circle is overlapping. So I can do this, that I can increase the X value also and I can increase the Y value also. How about making X value as 400 and making Y value as 350? And we are increasing the radius also. So here we go. So you can see a circle around as well. I hope that you must be clear with the basic shape creation. How can we give color, width, etc. Please practice this. and come back for more videos to learn more about JavaScript coding. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.